It's Felt Food with Cardicard Creations. This tutorial, Felt Food Basics from equipment to stitching styles. To begin with, you'll need a pin cushion, and this is just something to hold all your needles and is really something for safety. Pin cushions can come in various designs. For example, here's another pin cushion. You can even use your felt creations as a pin cushion. On that note, you will need needles. Here I've got different varieties of needles and they all came from this needle pack here. My needle pack is all jumbled up, but there are different sizes as in thicknesses of needles and length of needles. Moreover, you may need to get some pins. You will need a pair of scissors, fabric scissors, and possibly paper scissors to cut out templates. For example, when making templates, you'll definitely need a ruler and probably a compass. You'll also need access to a protractor, and in my videos I make reference to degrees, and the protractor helps me to make more accurate templates. Of course, if your design involves templates, you will need to get some thin card. So since we're sewing, we'll obviously need some thread. We'll need varieties of colors. This is just normal thread, as you can see here. I use poly thread, multi-purpose polyester thread. Just thin thread that comes in one single strand. I also often use this thicker embroidery thread, and if you can see, it's actually thread that's made up of various strands. Personally, I use 6-strand embroidery floss, and this one here shown is 100% Egyptian cotton. But basically go to a sewing store and ask for embroidery thread, and that's what you want. Felt. I get felt in lots of different colors. And where do you get felt? Well, you can get it from sewing places. Although Daiso sells them in packs like this for very cheap, as Daiso does, and that's really useful. So I suggest you head down to your nearest Daiso and check out what felt they have. So let's get sewing. Now when I sew, I like to use a double thread for extra strength. All you have to do is put it through the eye, make the ends meet up, and make a knot. And I always do a double knot. Then you want to cut off your excess. Now I'm going to show you a couple of stitches. Here's the most basic stitch called the running stitch. You start in one end, go up, and go through like this. Usually in felt videos, the reason that you might want to do a running stitch is so that you can create something like this. By pulling your thread, you can make the felt gather. Now let's do the overhang stitch. So having prepared your thread, get your 2 pieces of fabric that you want to join together. Go through, and all we do is go round the edge, just like this. You'll see this is what it looks like on the front of the piece, and that's all we're doing. Now if you go like this, that's what you'll see on the other side. Similar to the overhang stitch is one slightly more secure, or it gives more of a nicer look, called the blanket stitch. So watch closely as I do the blanket stitch. Go through, and before that loop closes, put your needle through that small loop there. The first of the blanket stitch will always look a bit odd. But as we do our second stitch, you'll notice that a horizontal stitch is created over the edge of our piece right there. You use a blanket stitch where the stitch is shown on the outside. I use an overhang stitch when I'm turning something inside out. Finally, we've got the ladder stitch. Say we've got 2 pieces of felt here, and we want to stitch them together, but we don't want anyone to see the thread. we do a hidden ladder stitch. Watch and observe. We start by going through the side of one, hiding that knot ever so well, and then going through the side of the other, and then taking a bit of the other. Ta-da! 2 join pieces by hidden thread. So here I'm doing a blanket stitch, and say I want to finish up my stitch now. So how am I going to finish it off? Well, to end a blanket stitch, do another stitch right next to your very last stitch. And then we're going to simply secure the thread. I'm going to hook some felt, make a loop, and pop the needle through that loop. And this, as you can see here as I pull, creates a secure knot. I usually do this twice to knot the end of a sewing thread, and as you can see, this is nice and secure now, at which point I can go snip. And so we have a completed stitch that's nice and secure. And once you're all sewn up, you can get your polyester filling to puff up your felt food creations with. So now that you know the felt food basics, head to my channel, watch the felt food tutorials I have, and make some felt food!